Let's go live. It's time to go live. Okay. We're about to dive all the way in. I hope that you're prepared. I don't think that we're ever quite prepared. Right? Okay. Let's go. Hey, welcome to the Death of a Dream. Dang it, I still got to get that intro down. I'll get it. Okay. Let's go ahead and dive into our great things. My great thing from yesterday. I've been working on handing over different things to my husband because our life is very... we're just in a season of a lot of running. So we have gymnastics and dance and all these crazy things. And so since we've been running, I need some help. And prior to me, being this person, I would have just made it work. And I'm really working on asking for help. So yesterday I was like, I don't know plans for supper. I don't have any. I need to grocery shop. I need to be better prepared. I understand that. But since I don't have any and I have to take our child to gymnastics, I'm going to need you to run up to the store and get dinner and then make said dinner. And so really that's the great thing. That's it. Just asking, right? Because so many times I think we just suck it up and then we're just spiteful and angry. And that's where I spent a lot of my time, like just always mad. Like, really, dude? You can't just help with dinner. But I wasn't willing to ask. So I'm trying to get better at just asking for what I need in real time. Most of the time, people are okay. They want to help. Most of the time, we just don't want to ask. So I've been forcing myself to ask. So that's my great thing. Here's the funny thing. So I come home, and there's a bag of tortilla chips and a thing of Velveeta shells and cheese. And I had gotten the notice of how much was spent at the market. And so at the market, oh my gosh, at the grocery store. It's called Market. So that was why. Okay. So I get this notification that like $25 was spent. And I come home to this box of Velveeta shells and cheese and this bag of chips. And I look at my husband, I'm like, so this is dinner? He's like, well, we got more. There's steak in the fridge. I'm like, oh, praise the Lord. Because if you just spent $25 on a box of Velveeta shells and cheese and a bag of chips, we're in trouble and we need way more education. Okay. So I go to the fridge, I get out the steak, and I'm like, are you cooking the steak or would you like me? And he said, well, I didn't cook it because that's for tomorrow. So I look back at the bag of chips and the box of Velveeta shells and cheese, and I go, so this is for today? He's like, well, the chips really aren't. I just got those because we needed some chips. We didn't have any. And I'm like, so this box, and it wasn't like the family size. It's like the probably one serving size. I mean, like a small box, right? He's like, Hannah, mac and cheese is expensive. And I just look at him. First off, I'm in awe still. I don't even have words. For what just happened. And I'm like, so this is for tonight. Well, I'm not going to eat. So that's what he says. I'm not going to eat. And I'm still just like dumbfounded and staring at him. Like, hold on. Hold the phone. You brought this is just one box. There's nothing here. This is not real dinner food. And so I'm still just sitting there, and he's just like, yeah, that's what I got for dinner. Here you are. And I'm happy, right? Because someone got to do the running, but you're still hearing shock in my voice. Like, this is actually what was produced. And I don't know if he's just messing with me. I'm going to ask today. I don't fully know if he is only doing this out of protest for having to do this. So he's just trying to produce lesser than ideal results so that I never ask again. But when I walked in and I saw this measly box of shells and cheese and this bag of chips on the counter, I'm just going through my mind and honestly wondering how we function as a family unit. And not that there's anything wrong with shells and cheese. I'm here for it. But this box of shells and cheese could not ever feed a family of 4. And he was actually hoping that there would be leftovers for him to take to lunch tomorrow. Like, I don't even have an appropriate reaction yet. And I'm not mad. I'm just in shock. I'm still in shock. And so I have to ask today, like, were you just messing with me? Was that just a joke to get me going? I'm really wondering. Or like, were you serious? This was your serious presentation of nourishment for the night. This is what we were supposed to eat. I don't even understand. I don't understand how he's so lost. Right? Like, how? And that's really the story. And this is just to help listeners understand that we're all growing. And if I'm going to ask these types of tasks of this person that I love so much, if I'm going to ask for this type of thing to happen, I'm going to need to make sure that he's prepared, that he understands what that means. And he was feeling great. Like, oh, Hannah, I realized that you asked for one meal. And I upped you 3 meals. I have a meal for tomorrow night, which is just literally cubes of steak. That's not really a meal. I also have a meal for tonight. And I also produced a snack. So he's waltzing in with this bag of groceries like he runs the world. And in my mind, I'm just going, who in their right minds? Who? Right? And this is like the beauty of the struggle going through life with someone. That's what's so beautiful. It's like their understanding of what works is just different, right? He's walking in feeling so accomplished. And I walk in feeling like this man hasn't a clue, right? And I love him. And he's such a beautiful gift to me, to my family. But I still don't know how to take this, what to read from this. I still don't know. Still trying to fully figure that out. Okay, that's a complete side note. Really, my great thing was just the ask. The other side was just still like, I don't know. I don't fully know. I don't know how to respond to this situation. If someone has help me, help me. I want to keep asking, I do. Right? And I don't want to approach him with what I just did because he may feel like, right? Because he really thought that he owned it. And he did. He went, he bought some things. It was great. I needed that. I needed that break. But I'm still just like, this won't do, good man. This won't do. So I need to figure out how to approach this lightly so that he still is willing to go do things like this. Because I need it. I need help. And I don't need to be in control where I tell him. I want him to be able to figure it out. And maybe he just learns as I continue to ask, right? Maybe he sees that really wasn't enough food, that wasn't really a complete meal like we're used to. Maybe he just sees that. Like he takes the leftovers to lunch, which by some grace of, I don't even know how it happened we had leftovers. And he sees that, oh, this isn't enough food. And so next time he does better. I don't know. I'm just going to have to probably keep asking and keep pressing, but not so hard that I deter. Okay, that's going to be my approach. Okay, here we go. So take time today and recognize yourself for your great thing. There's really nothing more important. There just isn't. Right? We have to start acknowledging how amazing we are. Because we are. Duh. We wouldn't be here if we weren't. Okay. So today we're talking about who you are. Why you're here. Like, what is the actual point? And I think the beauty of what my bonus episode was yesterday was Erica, and she was telling her story, and she had rose up from this crazy past and this hurtful past, and she goes into details of it. You have to listen to it. It's craziness, right? And she started to use that story to benefit her. And I think for a lot of people, we find ourselves in the middle of our stories. And I know that this is true for me because your whole life, whether you want to embrace it or not, and I am obsessed, beyond obsessed with storytelling. I can't even, right? And your whole life revolves around your story, whether you want to embrace it or not. Now, what doesn't have to revolve around that and be captivated by that is this idea that your story limits or stops you from what's possible. And, my story, I thought is just so basic. It's just so normal every day. It wasn't like Erica's where I rose up from the bottom and now there's a reason, right, to listen to me. And I was talking on a podcast yesterday about this. Like, my story wasn't one of treachery. It was just a basic story that I really wanted to escape from. And not escape like, please remove me. This is too terrible. Escape because it was too fine. Right? And so what I want us to start taking steps for is embracing our stories, embracing who that makes us. Because whether it's basic or it's treacherous or it hurts, the best step that we can take is to start to heal. Because no matter what, there's pain there. And I looked back at my life and I was like, oh, there's not really any pain. I don't have anything to heal from. And that was so false. Okay, I didn't have stories like Erica's, right? But I had things that I had to heal and embrace in my past that led to me finally owning that story and finding a way to use it for good. Right? And that doesn't mean that you're going to you're going to go back through your story and you're going to go, oh, I should speak on this and I should write about this and this is where I'm supposed to go, right? Maybe your story that you heal from rises you up to believe that you deserve those dreams, right? Whatever they are, it doesn't mean that there's a career change in it for you. Maybe you're on the perfect path, but you had to heal from that in order to rise further. And that's really what we're talking about, right? You have to heal from that trauma, even if you don't view it as traumatic, because there isn't really a weight for you, for your story, for your life, no one else's, right? Don't view other people's pain as more painful than yours. Everyone's pain is real to them, right? This is crazy, and this never really made sense until right now. My husband, early on in our marriage, had gotten kidney stones. And his mom was trying to coach me through, hey, he feels pain more than most people, more than all of my children. And she's had, 7 children, more than all my children. He feels it more. And so you just need to go ask those nurses to kind of up the medicine, right? And so I went and I asked those nurses and I said, hey, help me out. He just feels pain. He's in a lot of pain. You have to help him, right? You have to help him. And she looked at me and I said, he's just kind of overly dramatic. So if we could just get him through that. And I remember her looking at me and going, his pain is his. You can't speak to that. And I was like, rude. And I just walked away like, well, that was an extremely rude nurse, and how dare she? And she doesn't know him like I do. So she should listen to me, right? And I didn't really know him either, right? That's why I needed coaching from his mom. But I think what she said right there is true to this whole experience, is true to everything. I don't know his pain, and so I can't speak to it. And I think when you're talking about your own story, when you're looking for your own purpose, when you're trying to discover why me, why am I here, what am I doing, you can't judge your own pain based off of someone else's, your own story based off of someone else's. Because for me, I just kind of floored past mine. So I was like, well, I didn't really have anything crazy happen to me. I should just be grateful and keep moving. And the thing that I needed to heal from was this idea, was this fineness, was this thought that there was nothing significant that happened to me, when it's the exact opposite. Like, something so significant happened to me when I was 7, and it was just words that were spoken to me. But those words spoken to me at 7, that early on, completely killed my ability, my thought, this idea that I could be anything. And it completely shaped my life a different way. And that's what I needed to heal from. And everyone can sit and say that, well, those were just words. But at 7, when you're impressionable, when you're waiting for the world to kind of tell you and shape you and give you guidance, I was misguided. And had I never went back and found that and really dove in and really thought about what that was and how I needed to heal from that and what was keeping me in this life, what was guiding me towards something that didn't serve me. And that discovery process really took letting down that wall and saying, I was hurt. And it doesn't look like other people's hurt. And I understand that, but it still hurt. And once I let down that wall, I could finally start walking into what I was supposed to become and finally start letting that wall down that was really holding me back. And it was really just strung up and held up on this initial hurt. That hurt me so bad. That changed the direction of my life. And obviously, that's such a beautiful thing to have happened. Because without that, right, what would we even be talking about? Right? Without that, I don't know that I ever would have gotten to the place that I am now. I don't know that I would have continued to wake up. I don't know that I would have continued to push, to find, to drive. Right? And you have something in you too. And yesterday when I was speaking, that's one of the things. It's like it doesn't go away. It's knocking, right? You can hear it. And the closer that you get, the more that you walk, the less you hear it. Right? And early on in the podcast, I talked about that. I talked about this knowing, this knocking, this ever-present voice that was saying, change people's lives. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. I didn't know how that work was going to play out, but that whisper never went away. And I would constantly be trying to coach myself into this, whatever I was in right in that moment, into that being that thing for me. And it never was. Right? And yet there were lessons and there were things that I needed to learn right in that place, right? Sometimes it just doesn't happen. And I didn't ever want to force it, right? I wanted to go down this path and just start taking whatever step was in front of me. And crazy things have happened. Trust me, there are some crazy things on the horizon that I can't wait to announce to all of you. But it's all about really diving in and letting go of all of those things that have kind of guided you right to this place. And there's pain there, right? And there's healing that needs to take place. And I think Erica was such a great testament to healing from something and then using it to fuel you, right? And, you know, my biggest hope in doing this podcast is that people realize that no matter how traumatic that hurt was, right? That it's worth healing from so you can get to that next level. Because no matter, we all have pain that we're healing from. We do. There's something that's holding you back. And I want you to release that so that you can start stepping into your purpose. And the timing, the way that it all plays out, eventually, it all happens perfectly. You know, and you can't get there from where you are right now. And it will seem so impossibly far away when you first start out. But if you just keep showing up and you keep asking, right? Why am I here? What's the purpose? What's going on? Why me? Why this? Why this whisper? Why this thing? And I think everybody has it. I have to believe that everyone has a whisper, a thing, something that internally drives them that they can hear. I heard from one of my listeners the other week. It's like, I've read what you're saying and that you just want to be a light. And I think that's exactly what I want to be for who I serve. I just want to be a light. I just want to be a spark of happiness. I just want to be that person for someone, right? When the world is dark, I want to light it up for one person. And that's that call, right? That's the thing. You can't You can't explain why it's there, but you know that it is. And as soon as you start calling on it and you start asking, okay, what is this? What is this supposed to be? What am I supposed to do with this? I hear you. I hear you, and I'm done. I'm not stuffing you in a closet anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and heal from the things that are holding me back from believing that this is where I'm supposed to go, that this is supposed to be my path. And once you heal from that, you let down those walls and you start walking down that path. The voice doesn't have to guide you as loudly. The voice doesn't have to scream at you to try to rescue you from whatever you've put yourself in. Right? And it does it in crazy ways. In so many different ways, it's insane. And you just go, oh no. What is this? Oh no, I'm getting sick. What is this? My heart has gone crazy. I don't even know what to think anymore. What is this? What is this? It's your body. It's your mind. It's your soul. It's this like ever-present spirit that's trying to help guide you away from spaces not meant for you. And the more that you push it, the worse it's going to get. I'm sorry that it's like that, but it is. Right? Those things, those discomforts with whatever situation that you're in, look at those as guiding posts. And if it keeps getting worse, then sisters, start listening. Right? And if the voice is getting louder and you're hearing it more and it's telling you in different ways, whether it's in your dreams, whether it's in your subconscious, whether it's in the way that the world is presenting to you, start listening. Start allowing that to guide you to where you're supposed to go next, because it will. Right? It seems like higher level voodoo type magic, but I'm telling you, it's a real thing. Do you believe me yet? It's real. Take down those walls. Start investigating and looking back at your own story as much as you feel comfortable, and then start to heal from that. Because sometimes the very thing that led us to where we are now is exactly what we need to heal from, is exactly what we need to champion, overcome, and start moving forward. Right? And that story is such a beautiful part of where you'll end up, and you won't know it. And you are resilient. And that's such a beautiful strength that you have, that you outlasted this thing, that you rose up. Right? And it's not to say like, thank you for this pain. Thank you for hurting me. Oh, bless you. Right? It's to say thank you to yourself for overcoming that and waking up another day and showing up stronger than you were yesterday and not allowing that to rule your narrative. You overcame that. You did this thing. You did it. That hurt, that pain, you got up again. And that in and of itself is great. And the further that you get from that pain, the further that you allow yourself to get, the more that you allow yourself to heal, the closer you are to finding who you are and why you're here. And somehow, some way, that story is going to play into your purpose. It will. And you don't get it yet, but you will. Just keep taking steps towards that voice that's guiding you. You know what it is. You do. But a lot of times we just want to hide it because it seems too big and too scary. Trust me. My voice just kept telling me to change lives, and I just kept saying, okay, there's smaller stages, so we're good here, right? Let's just stay here. Let's not broadcast to countries. Let's not, no, just like one life's good. I coach. That's pretty close, right? And the voice was just like, no, sister, keep going. Sorry. No. Your voice is trying to guide you. Listen, you want your purpose? Listen, it's been telling you all along. As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world.